According to environmental reports, wild boar populations in some regions have more than doubled over the past few decades. When a wild boar suddenly appears inside a crowded restaurant, on city streets, or right next to residential homes, the question is no longer just what happened, but why are encounters like this becoming more common? Between the need to protect public safety and the responsibility to conserve wildlife, where is the line that allows both humans and animals to coexist? Imagine sitting in a restaurant, waiting for friends or enjoying a quiet meal when an unexpected guest walks in. That scenario became reality on New Year's Day at a barbecue restaurant in Gumi City, Gyeongbuk Province, South Korea, when a wild boar wandered into a crowded public space. In South Korea, wild boar appearing near residential areas is no longer rare. In some forest regions, population density is estimated at 3 to 4 animals per square kilometer. This rapid growth not only affects agriculture, but also creates serious challenges for animal disease control, especially concerns related to African swine fever, ASF. To reduce the risk of wild boar moving into residential zones, control measures are often deployed along forest boundaries. One common method is the installation of specialized cage traps, familiar sights to hikers and residents living near mountainous terrain. These measures are not designed to harm animals, but to manage movement and reduce conflict between humans and wildlife. For people living close to the forest, these traps are not symbols of capture. They represent a fragile boundary between safety and danger. To understand why such measures are widely used, it's important to see how they function in real-world conditions. The operating mechanism of a cage trap is relatively simple. When a wild boar enters to access the bait, it unintentionally triggers the latch system. The front gate drops automatically, securing the animal inside. Most traps are around 2 meters long and built to accommodate large adult boar. Trap effectiveness depends not only on design, but also on weather and boar behavior. During warmer months, abundant natural food makes wild boar more cautious and less responsive to bait. In contrast, winter food shortages push them toward concentrated food sources. Cold temperatures help scent travel farther and last longer, while snow limits mobility. When boar locate a reliable food source under these conditions, they tend to commit quickly, making trapping far more effective. Many cage traps use a one-way drop gate system. Once the gate falls, the exit is fully locked, preventing escape and allowing for more effective group control. The presence of reinforced cage traps reflects a reality faced by communities near forested areas: constant readiness against wild boar intrusion. These systems are considered necessary tools to protect crops, property, and public safety in foothill and mountain edge communities. When space becomes restricted, wild boar often respond by charging or attempting to jump. For this reason, Traps must be constructed with strong materials and sufficient height to ensure safety for both animals and people involved in control operations. Using these methods helps slow the rapid reproduction rate of wild boar populations. In certain cases, and where regulations allow, it also creates opportunities to relocate animals farther from residential areas. This contributes to ecological balance while reducing risks to human communities. On large farms in the United States, wild boar are often transported to specialized facilities rather than handled on site. This requires a closed, carefully controlled process to ensure safety. Transport cages are securely locked and reinforced. At staging areas, animals are placed in shaded environments and given water to stabilize before being transferred to authorized agencies for further handling under established regulations.
2, 3, 4, 5 bigger hogs. Hey, I'm not for sure.
When wildlife moves closer to human life, the solution is not panic, but early, informed, and well-planned decisions. Human-nature conflict is not a matter of winning or losing. It is a process of learning how to coexist. Reinforced traps and structured relocation procedures reflect human efforts to reduce conflict with wildlife. However, the most sustainable solution lies in thoughtful land use planning and the protection of forest ecosystems. When humans respect nature's boundaries, nature is far less likely to cross ours.
size they are?
Early in the morning, during a routine check around the farm, we noticed fresh soil torn up along the fence line. Deep hoofprints in the damp ground, combined with nighttime camera footage showing unusual movement, confirmed one thing clearly: wild hogs were moving in close to the cropland. They hadn't entered the field yet, but once hogs reach this distance, there is no room for waiting. In land management, delayed response often means heavy losses. Just one night, a single sounder of wild hogs can wipe out an entire season's harvest. It was time to act. Wild hogs are highly adaptable animals. They move fast, operate in groups, and constantly search for the smallest weakness in any defense system. One gap, one night, and an entire field can be destroyed. When hogs break in, the damage goes far beyond broken crops. Irrigation systems can be ruined, soil structure destroyed, roots torn out, losses that can affect multiple growing seasons. That's why prevention is always more effective than reaction. Deploying traps at this stage allows us to stay ahead of the problem, controlling risk before real damage occurs. At this point, chasing hogs away would only push the sounder to change direction and return later. Waiting would mean allowing the risk to grow beyond control. The chosen solution was to deploy a solid circular trap, placed directly along the travel route confirmed by both ground sign and camera footage. This approach is not about creating chaos or panicking the herd into running toward another area. On the contrary, traps allow the hogs to be contained within a defined space, minimizing risk to people, livestock, and surrounding property. The single objective is clear: stop wild hogs from crossing into cultivated land. Trap was firmly anchored into the ground. All locking points, connections, and overall stability were carefully checked before operation. Bait was placed precisely at the center, deep enough to force the hogs to fully enter the trap. There was no human presence left around the site, no unfamiliar scent. Everything was set up to allow the sounder to approach in the most natural way possible. Cameras continued monitoring throughout the night, confirming the moment the trap was triggered and ensuring the entire group was fully contained within the controlled area. Once activated, all exit points were immediately secured. The intrusion was stopped right at the fence line. The hogs could no longer root along the fence or search for a way into the field. The effectiveness of the trap wasn't in loud noise or confrontation, it was in stopping everything at exactly the right moment. Early the next morning, we returned to the site. The wild hog sounder was fully under control and transported according to regulations to a designated wildlife management facility. The process was carried out quickly and efficiently, ensuring safety for everyone involved while minimizing stress on the animals. All steps followed local wildlife management regulations strictly. Control is not just about stopping the problem, it's about taking responsibility for what comes afterward. It's not always necessary to wait until crops are destroyed before taking action. In many cases, deploying traps at the right moment is the deciding factor. Keeping a farm safe doesn't come from loud or aggressive actions. It comes from careful preparation, accurate decisions, and proper control from the very beginning. In farm management, acting at the right time is always more important than acting too late. Like and subscribe to continue following our journey. No gunshots, no headlights sweeping through the trees, just a phone vibrating quietly in the middle of the night. Close to midnight, a notification comes in from the home security system. Motion detected. Seconds later, the footage reveals a group of wild boars moving into the garden. They advance in a line, calm, methodical, no rush. This isn't the behavior of animals passing through by chance. It's the signature of a herd that knows this ground well. That tells us one thing clearly. This isn't a random visit. It's a well-established route. The real question now becomes, how do you stop the risk without putting people or the neighborhood in danger? Let's take a closer look. No one steps outside. Everything is monitored from inside the house, where decisions are made based on data, not instinct. A smart trap had been set weeks earlier, right along the trail the boars repeatedly used to approach the residential area. This wasn't guesswork. The location was chosen using night camera footage, tracks, and repeated movement patterns. The system combines night vision cameras, motion sensors, and a remotely controlled gate. Most importantly, it allows full control without direct contact, a critical factor when dealing with wildlife near homes. The herd pauses at the edge between forest and living space. They test the ground, root around, circle cautiously. A few individuals hang back, watching, reading the situation. This is the most dangerous moment. One wrong decision here, and the herd scatters, learns, and avoids traps forever. Then, one decision, timed perfectly. The gate drops cleanly. The herd is contained in a controlled space, fully separated from the neighborhood. No injuries, no noise. No one in the area even wakes up. A secondary camera deeper in the forest keeps rolling. Another group from the same herd changes direction. No panic, no chaos. They simply circle wider, searching for a new way in. That's textbook behavior when a familiar route is blocked. Instead of escalating force, a second trap is placed deeper, quieter, less obvious. The goal isn't speed, it's closing off re-entry completely and keeping the area stable in the nights ahead. What made that night special wasn't how many boars were controlled, it was when the decision was made. 30 seconds earlier, the herd could have split and spread. A few minutes later, fences, gardens, and living space might have taken real damage. Technology helps, a lot, but it can't replace human judgment or patience. The result came from preparation done long before, and a calm decision made at exactly the right moment.
We got Leafy Leaper over. People want a copy. But there they all are.
By morning, the garden is untouched. Proof that modern wildlife control is no longer about confrontation. It's about being proactive, safe, and responsible. This is what it looks like when humans manage conflict with intelligence and patience instead of panic. Situations like this will only become more common as the line between people and nature continues to shrink. In the next episode, we'll keep following how residential areas take control before conflict begins. Like, share, and subscribe to stay with us.
Run and go get the other one down. Other one.